Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into one of the single most powerful forces in all of human civilization. We're going to go from the first flicker of fire in a prehistoric cave all the way to the foundations of our modern world. To ask a huge question, how exactly did faith build the world we live in? Okay, so let's get right into it. Picture this. It's 30,000 years ago. You are huddled in a dark, damp cave. Outside, the world is just terrifying. It's full of things you can't possibly understand. And right there, in that mix of awe and absolute fear, something ignites. It's the first spark of an idea that will grow to change everything. All right, so let's start at the very beginning, at the dawn of human consciousness. We're going to look at our earliest spiritual beliefs, and, maybe more importantly, at a mind-blowing discovery that completely rewrote the story of how civilization even got started. For the longest time, we all thought we knew the answer to this. The story went, humans figure out farming, they settle down in one place, and then, with all this new free time, they start to develop complex things like religion. But what if that whole story is completely backwards? Because an absolutely incredible archaeological find in modern-day Turkey turns everything we thought we knew on its head. And this is the part that is just so wild. The evidence points to hunter-gatherers, people who didn't have permanent homes or farms, building this massive, incredibly complex temple. It seems like the desire to come together and worship something bigger was the very thing that pushed us to invent farming and build cities, not the other way around. I mean, think about that. This one discovery just completely flips the script on how human society began. It wasn't about having a surplus of food that let us build temples. No, it was the burning need to build the temples that forced us to figure out how to create a surplus of food. From day one, faith was the architect. Okay, so faith gets us to settle down. But what happens next? Well, as we're about to see, once we had cities, the world's first great civilizations weren't just influenced by the religions, they were literally powered by them. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. You can draw a straight line from the local environment to the kinds of gods people believed in to the world-changing technologies they invented. In Mesopotamia, you have these violent, unpredictable rivers, so you get these angry, cruel gods. And what do you invent? Writing, so you can keep track of offerings to please them. But in Egypt, the Nile is super predictable and life-giving, so their gods are orderly and they invent advanced mathematics to build perfectly balanced tombs for the afterlife. It's amazing. And then, everything changes. Around the 5th century BCE, it's like a switch flips in the human mind, all across the globe. There's this incredible psychological revolution, and the focus shifts from just trying to please some angry god in the sky to exploring the inner world of the human soul. What's so incredible about this timeline is that all these things were happening at roughly the same time, but in total isolation from each other. You have the Hebrew prophets talking about a God that demands justice. At the same time, in India, the Buddha is teaching a way to end suffering. In China, Confucius is building a framework for social harmony. It's a parallel evolution of consciousness, creating the moral and philosophical systems that billions of people still live by today. So faith goes from personal to communal to imperial. And this is where things get really complicated, because organized religion gets tangled up with immense power. And as we'll see, it becomes this incredible paradox, a force for both unbelievable progress and, at the same time, unimaginable destruction. Just think about this for a second. A small, hunted sect from a remote corner of the world becomes the official state religion of the most powerful empire on Earth. It's an incredible story. And then, when Rome itself crumbles, it's the Christian monasteries that become these little fortresses of civilization, where monks painstakingly copy and preserve the knowledge of the ancient world, keeping the lights on during the Dark Ages. But it wasn't just happening in Europe. Following the revelations to the Prophet Muhammad, a new, vibrant civilization exploded across the Middle East. The religious command to seek knowledge sparked an incredible golden age. In Baghdad's famous House of Wisdom, scholars from all faiths gathered the world's knowledge, translating Greek philosophy, inventing algebra, and totally revolutionizing medicine. And here's the dark side of that same power. That same intense belief that drove people to translate Aristotle could also be twisted to justify horrific violence. The very same religious fervor that fueled the golden age of science also fueled centuries of brutal conflict during the Crusades. It's a powerful, double-edged sword. And this is a perfect storm, right? You've got widespread corruption, a brave monk who speaks out, and then, bam, a revolutionary new technology, the printing press. Luther's ideas go viral, shattering 1,000 years of Christian unity. And while it unleashes this new wave of individualism, it also plunges Europe into more than a century of absolutely devastating religious war. So after centuries of bloodshed in the name of God, you can see why people started thinking, maybe we need a different way. An age of reason and science begins to dawn. And for a while, it really looked like faith was on its way out. But it refused to disappear. Instead, it adapted and reemerged in some of the most surprising ways imaginable. Suddenly, we had a new story to tell ourselves about the universe, a story of physics and evolution and natural laws, not divine will. For a lot of thinkers during the Enlightenment, this was it. This was the beginning of the end for religion's role as the central pillar of society. But then, and this is the big twist, religion doesn't just fade away. It comes roaring back, but this time as the moral engine for justice. Think about it. The abolitionist movement was driven by Christians who believed slavery was a profound sin. The American Civil Rights Movement was led by a Baptist minister, Martin Luther King Jr. Indian independence was powered by Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence, rooted in his Hindu faith. And here's the thing that's so easy to miss. Even if you're not religious at all, the world you live in is still built on a religious foundation. The very idea of universal human rights, it grows out of the belief that every person is made in the image of God. The first universities, hospitals, all founded by religious institutions. Our world is soaked in these ideas, whether we see it or not. So in the end, trying to separate religion from history is, well, it's impossible. It's like trying to separate water from the shape of the earth. It has been this incredible force that nourishes civilizations, carves deep canyons of conflict, and has sustained life through it all. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? Our world, it would be unrecognizable to those people in that first cave. And yet, the fundamental questions that haunted them, why are we here? What's the point of all this? How are we supposed to live? Those questions are still with us. They haven't gone anywhere.
Please like and subscribe.